All right, we're going to start day 1 of 6.2. We're going to be reviewing some inverse functions here. So I've kind of set up my page just to give you guys a few examples. Our notes page that kind of goes along with it looks like this. 6.2, day 1, inverse functions and relations. All right, so I'm going to go through an example like this. And I'm going to go through a couple of different types of graphs, okay? Jangles decided to come and say hello again. All right, so looking here, when we see the word inverse, when we see inverse, just think reverse. So we're going to take our ordered pairs and we're just going to reverse the order that they're in. So now we have 5, 3, and 2, 9. We've got 1, -4, and -9, -6. That's not too bad. Now, when we have graphs here, and we have to find the inverse of our graphs, really, when we're looking at these types of problems here, it looks like a whole ton of work. It's really not that bad. So, the most important thing you need to remember is that when we have a graph and we have to find the inverse of it, all we have to really do is find sometimes 2 or 3 points on our graph. I found some really nice points based off of these 2 graphs that I made. This point here is 0. Oopsies, just kidding. We're starting at 0 and we're going over 1, 2, 3. And so that's +3, 0. And then over here, we've got 0, up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's +4. So now, just like how I found the inverse of these guys, I just find the inverse of those guys. I just switch them. So now, we're going to call these, let's just call them regular. We'll call these ones inverses. Okay, so our inverse is 4, 0, and 0, 3. So now when I'm graphing that inverse, usually just like on these examples here on our notes page, we just graph them on the same graph. Just for fun, I'm going to graph them on their own graph, so that way you can see the difference very easily between the two. Okay, so I'm going to plot 4, 0, so I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's 0. So I'm going to draw a dot, and then I'm going to go 0, up 3. Here's 0, up 1, 2, 3, draw my dot. And those are my inverses. Okay, so if I were to put those on the same graph, I would literally just keep those same points, and I would take those 2 dots, put them on this graph, and essentially we would just have a new line. So if we had 4, 0, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's that point. And then I have 0, 3. So here's 0, up 1, 2, 3. So I connect my dots, and there's my new line. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. Now I'm going to do one that's a little bit trickier, and what I did here was I found a point down here, the highest point here, and the lowest point right there. Okay, so again, I just list them as ordered pairs. So this, starting at 0, goes -1, -2. So I've got -2, 0. I'm going to call these regular, and the other ones inverses, because we're finding the inverse functions. So I found that point here. This one up here, I went over -1, and I went up 1, 2, so that's a +2. And then this point right here, starting at 0, I go +1, +2, comma, 0. Alright, so now I just take these two numbers and I just flip them. So I've got 0, comma, -2, 2, comma, -1, and 0, comma, 2. So all I have to do is plot those points. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because sometimes when you already have points on a graph and then you try and plot new points, sometimes it gets confusing. So I'm just going to draw it over here, and then I'm going to take those same points and put it on this graph so you can see it both ways. Okay? So I'm going to plot 0. So I'm not going to go this way or this way, but I'm going to stay at 0 and then go down 2. 1, 2, draw my dot. And then I have +2, so from 0 I'm going to go +2, down 1, because that's -1. And then I've got 0, comma 2. So I'm going to stay at 0, and I'm going to go up 2, draw my dot. But now it's like, how do I draw that? Not really sure. So the bottom point here, 0, comma, -2, that was the first point that we drew, like here, right? So if here's my point, and this one's here, this one goes down, so this point is going to go down. So it went up, so from here it's going to go up, and we're going to go down and back up. Kind of looks goofy, right? But they're inverses. So the reason I'm drawing it here is so that way when I plot those points here, I know exactly how to draw it. Yeah. So I've got -2 down here. 1, 2, draw my dot. And I know that one is going to go this way. Oops. There we go. Just like how that is. And then this one is +2 down -1. So +2 down -1. So I'm going to go here. And it's going to curve up just like how that's curving up. And that's at +2. 0, +2. So it went like this. It's going down and it's going to come back up. So you see how sometimes drawing it over here before you draw it on a graph makes it a little bit easier. So this one is an example similar to this one, except I did different points. And then this one here, this curve is the same type of curve as this guy. So you see how it goes like that, just like, I'll zoom out a little bit. So this one does the same thing as what our graph does here. And then this guy is going to be like this one over here. So for this graph, we have -1, -2, -2, comma 0. And this one is 0, comma +2, because you find 0, and then +2. And then this one is +1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Put those in parentheses. We'll call these ones my regulars, and these ones my inverses. Just flip-flop them. 0, comma -2. 2, comma 0. And 3, comma 4. Hopefully we're getting the hang of this here, guys. So I'm going to plot my inverses. So I've got 0, and I'm going to go down 2, draw my dot, +2, +1, 2, and 0 stays there, and then 3, comma 4, so 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got that. Alright, so now my first point was my starting point, kind of like how this was my starting point. So 0, -2 is right here. So that's my starting point. So I know that this one over here goes up and over. So I know that this one's going to go up and over. Kind of goofy, I know. So now I'm just going to take those same points and put it on my graph over here. So I've got 0, -2, 0, down 1, 2. Draw my dot. +2 is right there. And up 4. What is that? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Up 4. And my curve goes like this. So my curve goes like that. It's okay if it doesn't like touch the dot right. But there you have it. There's 6.2. Let me double check our notes here and just make sure there's nothing else that I want to go through with you guys. It looks like the homework from this section in our notes was 396, numbers 9 through 14 all. I also have that over here. 9 through 14. Page 396. Oh, just kidding. That is for day 2. We are on day 1. Alright, so yes, this is the homework. If you don't have your book, email me and I will come up with something else for you. Yes. I was going to say, so if you haven't done this yet, I can find a replacement assignment for you, or I can come up with some problems. But if you have it and you didn't turn it in, take a picture of it and send it to me. And that's where we're going to stop with 6.2 day 1. 6.2 day 2 will be following shortly. Stay tuned.